Springtime in Ohio, we all know what that means. 114 pounds of snot in my head. Stand by. Hey everybody, welcome back to RATTLECAN Fab Shop. I'm James, and on this week's In School, we're covering Dos Weekeros, because last week was the Easter, and if you know anything about Easter weekend and you're involved with a technical team, there is no rest on that weekend. So we're going to cover 2 weeks. Forgive me while I look at yon photos to trigger my old man memory. The past 2 weeks in welding class, we have continued to do TIG welding. I did have a discussion with actually a couple of guys about something called cheater lenses. They're more properly known as diopters or magnifiers that you can set inside your welding hood so that you can see better. Because with TIG welding, if you're welding something small, you're welding it on a low amperage, there's not a lot of light. Because instead of like blasting thick plate aluminum at 150 or 200 amps, you're down at like 20 amps with a skinny tungsten electrode. So anyways, we talked a little bit about that, and hopefully gave him some pointers to help him along. We did the normal. We did pad of beads, and we started doing lap joints. Delved into T-joints a little bit. Not a whole lot. Regular teacher comes back this week, and this week we turn in our welding equipment. We review for the final, and then the following week is our online final. And then we're done. The past 2 Tuesdays in machining shop, we are, again, finishing up the mill project. I'm actually done. I turned mine in last week. And, I got a 93 on it, which is, for a schlub like me, pretty okay. I did discover that despite trying to do your best, sometimes the material will thrust limitations upon you. As you can see, this is some sort of a structure. Perhaps, I don't know if I'm using the right term here. It could be like a grain type structure. Anyways, there's something going on in the metal. The surface, my surface finish is fine. It feels fine, according to my instructor. It looks like 5 miles of country road. We dressed the wheel a couple of different times. So it's not, it sounds like a breakup song. It's not me, it's you. So we did okay. And so since I have turned my project in, what that has meant is that lately I've just been cleaning the machine. There is the vise that I have on my Bridgeport will rotate, so you can set an angle if you needed to. Problem was you couldn't actually see what those settings were, so it was me, a can of WD-40, and a brush, and with a little bit of Scotch-Brite we were able to get it so you could actually see the numbers on it. I actually took the vise off, and ended up, there was a whole ton of grossness on there, so I ended up having to stone the top part of that table just to get all of that stuff off of there, and then reset the vise back where it needed to be, trammed it in. I was within 4th thou, and for the kind of stuff that we're doing, it should be okay. I did make a new, if you follow the Insta Snaps, I did make a new acquisition. I did picked up a couple of tools. I picked up an 8-inch Mitutoyo dial caliper, and I also picked up a 0 to 6-inch Mitutoyo depth gauge set. These came from a local guy. A number of years, his father, who was a tool and die maker, passed away, and he was starting to clear stuff out. So I was able to secure the purchase of those things. His dad worked in the area for decades, and so it was it will be nice to add those to the collection and to hopefully put those into use in the machining trade here where they've lived for, you know, the past 30 or 40, 50 years, and get those back into service. Wednesdays is pretty much the same deal. Wednesdays is CNC lab, and we're still making widgets. Do I have a picture of the widget? I don't think I have a picture of the widget. I will have to insert a picture of the widget here. And then, oh, here is, you can't even tell. You're going to hear like a little tunk. That's the part falling off. The thing that I don't like about the CNC lathe, I can't see what's going on because there's, you know, spooge spewing all over the place. It's horrible. So that's what we're wrapping up. We've got one more week of a lab. And we have to finish engraving this top, and then we're putting a couple of additional features onto it. We've made them on the lathe, but we're now going to go engrave them on the mill. And then we'll be done with intro to CNC Ops. And then Thursday, metrology. Again, we're measuring stuff, and because, you know, that's what you do, and that's okay. We're looking at brackets. We're also exploring the wonderful world of GD&T, geometric distance and tolerancing. And that is kind of another language. I'm still attempting to wrap my head around bonus tolerances. I understand maximum material condition, least material condition. That stuff I understand. The whole bonus tolerancing thing is it's a struggle. We're on the flat part of the learning curve when it comes to that particular thing. And I know it's just one of those things where at some point I will get it. So that's what's going on. The other thing I'm going to do Monday on welding class is I am going to bring in, we don't prep very much any of the stuff that we weld, which I think is, especially if you're doing TIG welding, it's not the way you TIG weld. You know, we have just the regular brushes that you use to, you know, scrape slag off, you know, when you're doing stick welding and stuff, but we don't have grinders and wire wheels and all that kind of stuff. So I have made some coupons, and I've descaled them. And there's actually, there's a measurement. Let's see, because I can measure it on the scale at 140 thousandths. And when I take the scale off, it's at 136 thousandths. So, you know, that's 4 thousandths of crap that you have to weld through before you get to metal. Because if you listen to Jody on Welding Tips and Tricks, you need to be welding on clean, bright metal. And the way that you get it from your metal supplier is none of the above. We also don't have buckets of acetone around. So what I've gone to, I did this at Hobart when I was doing that same thing, because I'm not a big fan of, there's a saying in the military, you fight like you train. If you're going to train with rubber guns, when push comes to shove, you're probably going to expect to be armed with a rubber gun. Same way with welding. If you train welding on crappy, scaly metal that you don't clean with any sort of chemical to get to, you know, to degrease it off of there, then that's probably the way that you're going to continue to weld. And that scale can introduce all kinds of garbage into your weld. So I will bring little alcohol wipes just to try to get the last bit of goo off of there. You know, we're not going for certifications, but, you know, any job you do, you might as well try to do as good a job as you can. What have we been doing outside? We're getting ready to destroy 3 sheds in the backyard. Mrs. Rattlecan hates the barns, so we are getting ready to have a barn busting. We're going to do that tomorrow to try to get them out of there, because all of our plans for the township have been approved for the new shed structure that Mrs. Rattlecan has worked very hard at designing and working with the builders and the permitting process. You know, I'm just here to provide the muscle. So we've got to get those barns out of the way. There's pavers on the ground; those need to get out of the way. We've got a dumpster sitting in the driveway. We're going to fill that up tomorrow. Move all those pavers, because state of Ohio, you can't just lay down a gravel bed and put pressure treated piers on the ground. So we're going to have to make piers. We got to put 25 piers in to get that done. What else is going on? Let's take a look here. You know, not that anybody cares. My backflow preventer died. It's been on there probably since the 70s, maybe the 80s. So we had a crack in a ball valve, waiting on parts to come in for that. Let's see. Oh, it snowed the other day. It's supposed to be 80 tomorrow. So there's like 4 days between those two events. I don't understand it. We did oxyacetylene cutting. I don't have permission from my classmate to put this on there, so we'll just put a smiley face, because she smiles a lot, so you know, that'll be okay. Cut down a bunch of yew trees. I mean, it's just everyday stuff. Oh, and we're working on, friend of the channel, Jay's, we're working on his shelf for his gas tank project, to put that big Skookum fuel injector fuel pump in his gas tank, and battery died on my welding helmet. Probably overdue. I've had that helmet for 3 years or so, three and a half years. So I could have gone to the store and bought one for $10, or I'll wait 36 hours and Amazon will deliver me a pack of 6 tomorrow for the same price. Panasonic batteries too. They're not like offshore Pete's brand of battery. So anyways, that's what's going on. 2 more weeks left in the semester. I'm already signed up for summer semester. I'm already signed up for fall semester. If you have questions, if you have suggestions, if you want to talk about the weather, put it in the comments down beneath the sermon notes. Be sure to subscribe, hit the little bell so you can find out the next time I'm talking about something stupid like, well, my cat's sitting on the couch waiting for my wife to show up so that they can snuggle up next to her. Even though she's not really a cat person, there may be a bit of irony involved in that. Anyways, I'm James. You guys have a great weekend. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Cheers. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to spend it here with me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Here's one that you might enjoy as well. If you're not already subscribed, be sure to hit that button, hit the bell next to it so that you get a notification when we drop a new video. If you've got comments, put them down beneath the sermon notes. And remember, if I can do it, you can do it. You guys have a great weekend. Cheers.